What's your opinion on then Nick Diaz getting banned for smoking dope?
That's ridiculous because smoking weed, it's not really an enhancement in terms of sports. I know I've read articles about how some cyclists and some swimmers and some running marathon, any endurance sport.
The Olympic Games are lower now.
Some people do use marijuana, but because it gives them a headspace where they can actually progress. But in fighting, there's no advantage whatsoever. None whatsoever. That's something. There's a big misconception with marijuana. It's a big misconception because you have to watch documentaries and study it to come to realize why it got banned in the first place, why it's still banned. It's a very political
decision.
Exactly. There isn't when you look at statistics compared to alcohol with cigarettes, marijuana is way behind. I mean, in terms of deaths, it's zero from, I mean, unless someone's doing something stupid where they normally do something stupid. The only real statistic I look at, which is also arguable, is the one about schizophrenia. And the one about schizophrenia is like, if you take 100% of the population, 1% of the population will have schizophrenia no matter what. So essentially what's happening is it's triggering your schizophrenia if it's there within your mental state.
Yeah.
So
Alcohol, same effect.
Yeah. So something will trigger that schizophrenia along the way, but marijuana can trigger it. That is true, but it's only a very mild. It's still a mental condition within the brain. That's something. It's ridiculous because if I were to go out to Northbridge, for example, I would rather have a suburb full of everyone smoking marijuana than being drunk on alcohol. No one's even going inside the club on marijuana. Everyone's at the kebab place just eating and talking and loving and being spiritual. And it's a very spiritual kind of drug in the sense of you feel a connection, a love. And compared to alcohol, where a lot of people handle alcohol great. But for them, there is a higher percentage you find of people who don't handle it the best.
Yeah.
Where they get aggressive. Drink driving's really bad. You can't really drink and drive. You can kind of smoke and drive.
Yeah.
I've seen videos of studies. You're not exactly as coherent, but a lot better than the guy who's drinking and driving. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not condoning smoking, but do you see my point with this?
Yeah. Well, you don't see too many people, people who have had lots and lots of drink. Yeah. They seem to get more violent. If you just smoke copious amounts of weed, you don't get violent. You're just like, bro, well, come over here, man. Come sit down over here.
Well, you're seeing countries that everyone's starting to realize, because drug addiction as well is something very new as well to humans. Really, if you think about how long we've been around, how long drugs have been around, it's something very new. Drugs have not been around in human existence very long. And so you look at, for example, I mean, the actual addiction as well of drugs. And I've read this book called Chasing the Scream, and there's even a online video about it where it talks about actual addiction, where addiction comes from. Addiction, everyone thinks comes from the actual substance itself, No, it doesn't. No. It's your environment that causes the addiction. So, for example, they did this very famous study called Rat Park. So, for example, they took a rat, they put it in a cage, they give it cocaine water, and they give it normal water.
Yeah.
And now what you find is, after a while, the rat will start with drinking the water, but pretty much 100% of the time, it goes towards drinking the cocaine water.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, what they did was, they said, wait a second, let's try doing this test again. They put all these rats in a cage. They gave it balls, wheels, everything. Made it basically a Disneyland for parks. A better environment for that rat. Put the same two types of water inside the cage, cocaine water and normal water. And what they found was none of the rats actually went towards the cocaine water. What this shows, and it's actually transparent in humans, is when you built an environment around you that you're happy with, and it's not negative in your mindset, you're fulfilled within your life. You don't need the addiction. And that's where your addiction's actually stemming from. And that's what we're starting to realize with humans, and treating an addiction not so much as outcasting and pushing people away, but actually bringing them back in. Like Portugal, they do this. They try to treat them like normal people and say, okay, we treat this like a psychological, what's wrong in your life where it's causing the addiction.
Yeah.
It's never the actual substance itself. It's actually the environment, which is a very big misconception.
And that's a good point, because in our culture, especially, drinking is a big part of our culture.
Yeah, it is. And you find like...
That is my critic, man. Like, if you drink, if you have problems with alcohol, where you go? You look for some specialist, If you have problems with other illegal drugs, like marijuana or, I don't know, methamphetamine, you go to the police, you go to police, you go to the court, Should be a health problem, not a...
I guarantee anyone who's listening to this, I know myself personally through experience of life, the times where I've resorted to substances has always been at the worst times of my life. It's at the times I wanted that escape and not being comfortable in my environment. And I guarantee...
So is that a mental thing with the good environment around you?
Yeah, well, it's essentially you feel like you don't... when that expression, it sounds corny, but high on life, it's essentially true, because when you are high from the environment around you, your family's good, your friends are good, work is good. You have everything that you want within your life that you're satisfied with. You don't need to resort to an addiction. And that's unfortunately, for example, a relationship that's going south and you don't really want to deal with it in the healthy way, then that energy can kind of translate into work. And before you know it, things start craving in. And before you know it, I finish work. What's the first thing I want to do when I get home? Have a drink.
Yeah.
Why? I want to take away that little
You're
tingle.
gonna get high.
I want to release that tension in my neck. Well, why is that there? Just work is stressful.
So,
no, why? Because work can be stressful, but there's more to this. Elaborate. We all have stressful days, but there's something you're actually, eyeing that alcohol or eyeing that cigarette or eyeing whatever. And wanting that escape. It's very different.
So do you want the addiction problem came with the prohibition together at the same time? When we start to come on, this is not allowed to do. So then you start to get problems with addiction. Like for example, in the past when they was prohibited have alcohol in America, United States.
Yes.
It's
worse.
What's happened? Like the gangsters.
Well, the gangsters, yeah.
Everybody start to drink more.
Exactly.
If you can have a beer, but it's illegal. So I can have a bottle of whiskey. It's the same danger I get a bottle of beer. So I want something stronger. That's the problem.
My opinion as well in terms of drugs, alcohol, substances as well is something that a lot of people won't agree with. But I'm actually the true believer of everything should be legalized. And the reason being is because when you create a stigma or a black mark of something, one, you get the drug dealers, you get the black market. Not just that, I feel like... Well, and I know the arguments are always, if you legalize heroin, everyone's going to become a heroin addict. If we legalize heroin tomorrow, for anyone listening, us three, if you legalize heroin tomorrow, are you going to do heroin tomorrow? I'm not going to do it. Are you going to do it? Troy's kind of thinking about it, but for the most,
I had before
heroin. I mean, there isn't. Just because something is legalized doesn't necessarily you're just going to run off and do it.
Yeah.
And what's happening is you will abolish a black market for these. What a drug dealer is going to start working off. Sure, they're going to look at other schemes, whatever.
Pablo Escobar.
Yeah.
Imagine if cocaine was legal. Yeah. Pablo Escobar would be a great businessman.
Yeah.
Forbes will elect him the man of the year.
Well, I can't remember his numbers. It's something amazing. He's obviously in the billions. The money he would spend on rubber bands alone were ridiculous.
They're still finding buried money over there
in Bolivia. Well, Bolivia, Colombia. My bad.
Yeah,
but
close enough.
It's I'm thinking Bolivia because I'm going to Bolivia as well, to be honest. But drugs are it's something quite new to human existence that was
well, I wonder what the addiction rate is. Drugs in places like Amsterdam, people, for example. Where
it's lower. Well, when they legalized marijuana, the usage went down. It went from like 60% to like 45%.
Yeah.
Because it didn't like I said, that black stigma to it,
and it takes away the curiosity.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's the biggest thing. It's with everything. When you're told you can't do something or you're not allowed to have it, you're curious. You want it. Now I really want to do it.
Yeah.
But it's when it's in your face, it's around you all the time.
Because pretty much you just use drugs for 3 reasons. Religious, recreational, or medicine. That's all, man. That's all. There's nothing wrong with these 3 points. You know?
Yeah.
Religious, fine, man. Is your religion, man. It's your doctrine. If you want to do, man, go for. Medicine, man. What's the problem? It's just a medicine. And recreational, man. Just have fun.
There's another reason as well. Spirituality. I want to go into that with you, because we are in the same mindset of spirituality, personal experiences, what we've seen, what we've delved into. Okay, you're from South America. South America is obviously in Peru famous for the ayahuasca.
Yeah.
For people who don't know what ayahuasca is, it's this ancient Peruvian technique of taking it's bark. Is it, how do you,
It's a root.
It's a bark and a root of two different plants, stewing them together. And
I know it's a leaf
it's
and a root, but the roots came from the top.
from the tree.
From the
The
tree.
vine.
Divine?
Yeah, they call them
So-
the bark of it's the skin of the tree. And you essentially taking these two, you mix it together, you brew it, and you drink it. And this is what ayahuasca is. They've been doing it in thousands of years of Peruvian culture. And you drink it, and you go into it releases something called dimethyltryptamine in English, which is short for in the short version is DMT. And a lot of people who listen to Joe Rogan's podcast know he talks about this. And it's fascinating. And I started researching it, and I've actually experienced it. Because it's not a drug where it's like heroin or cocaine or something like that, where it's a psychedelic where you're spiritually enlightened.
You've had it?
Yeah, I've tried it.
Where'd you try that at?
Overseas. And but
What's the number?
overseas, and it's something that it's very profound, not in a way of very. Some people talk about it, and it's like they over enhance it, saying it's impacted their life in this in a certain way.
What, change your life in a positive way?
In a positive, it's always in a positive.
Change your
way.
life.
Okay, but what happens is, it gives you a perception of realizing everyone's actually connected, and this whole universe is actually connected. We're a lot closer. It's an awakening in a way.
Yeah.
Now you in South America have tried ayahuasca.
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah.
And you even told me you actually did this with your mother, which is quite interesting.
Yeah.
Which is I actually find to be beautiful, because for someone who's ever done ayahuasca or smoked DMT, your natural reaction is actually to tell the person that's closest to you and you people who are you love, because you want them to experience this connective. It's like jiu-jitsu in a way. You experience, you're like, dude, I'm doing something. I want you to experience it.
You can smoke the stuff as well.
You do. Well, there's a few ways of doing it. So there's ayahuasca. There's different degrees, I believe. Ayahuasca is the drinking form,
right?
Which lasts for hours, actually. But the body, because it's not in a real natural state with preservatives within the body, your body can reject it in a way of you can form diarrhea and vomiting. But you still have quite a deep vision, and it's longer lasting.
Doesn't that what? So when you drink it, don't you vomit and it cleanses your body?
It does.
It? Yeah. And then you go into the trip.
Yes. And then they're smoking it, and so what smoking it does is it's a shorter trip. It lasts approximately 10 minutes, but it's apparently a stronger version of the ayahuasca. And then there's intravenously through needles, which they've done through a documentary. It's called The Spirit Molecule, which is on YouTube, and Joe Rogan's actually narrated it. Dr. Rob Strauss, I believe.
It's on Netflix. I think
it's on Netflix as well. And they take doctors, all these different people willing to do it, and they talk about their experience. And
they all have similar experiences.
They all have similar experiences, and it's very similar to the experience of smoking it in a sense, but obviously intravenously is a lot stronger. Of you kind of get launched into this universe, and everything's it's the hardest thing to kind of describe to anyone, but That's me rambling on about, because I can talk about this stuff forever because it's fascinating to me. I want to know about your trip. I want to know about how it happened.
How was?
What was your, what led you to going into ayahuasca and the discovery?
So, well, first, the environment is really different. It's not a party. I want to say that first. It's not a party. It's not it's something really spiritual,
Sorry, how old were you when you first did it?
20.
Okay.
20.
So did your mom tell you?
No, was by myself,
Yes.
me and my friends. So, but first I didn't try the ayahuasca first. I met this pajé. Pajé is like a shaman.
Yes.
In Brazil. So we did a combo first. Combo is like when you take it's like a resin from the frog, and then you do some.
Yes, I've heard of this.
Some you burn your skin, and then you put this potion in your skin, then you start to feel really bad.
Yeah.
Really bad. It's nothing good. It's really bad. You vomit, diarrhea, straight away. This is for clean your body first. And then you get a rapé. Rapé is like a powder from roots and leaves. It's a mixer. So then you get from nose, like you sniff. You don't sniff. Actually, the pajé blow in your nose.
Mm-hmm.
So then you get a little bit high, but nothing as a drug. So then your body is clean first. That's good.
Cleansing, yes.
Yeah.
It's good to have your body clean, ready for the ayahuasca. So and then later on, we took with this pajé, and was in a real indigenous ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
He sings for us. So it was a real traditional way.
Mm-hmm.
So then I didn't feel nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing. And then I tried a second time, was in a different environment, because I need back the history, sorry. So because the ayahuasca was just for indigenous first.
Mm-hmm.
And then the white man came and said, hey, I want to know this. And the indigenous say, no, it's not for you, it's not your culture, you are not allowed to know about this.
Mm-hmm.
And one day this pajé, this shaman, had a dream. And on this dream, the God said for him, teach him how to do, but don't teach how to take. Let him get his own interpreter, Let him interpret it by himself. Mm-hmm. And then the pajé can, hey, is that way you prepare, this is the potion, so you can have this way. Okay, so then he went to home, took, and then he saw the Holy Mary. Mm-hmm. So he bring all this experience for the Christian way, because it's his background. So he understands better the drug between the not the same way than the indigenous, but from his background, like the Catholic way.
Yeah.
So you can bring the same meaning, man.
It's funny. I'll go back into the point you said about Mary, but continue. Just remind me, Troy, to come back to the Mary point. Yes.
Okay, so I forgot now what I was talking.
No, Catholic, and the guy experienced it. Yes.
What's really good, because everybody have a different interpretation. I have my point of view. I have my background. I have my history. You have your history. So you took your drug, man. You get your vibe. I took my drug. I get my vibe. We can talk later. But it's pretty much my experience. Mm-hmm. It's my interpretation. So that was good. So then I took on this other environment where it was pretty much a church. We sing some Catholic songs. All the squares in the wall was religious, like Jesus, Holy Mary, and all this stuff was really different. And the first time I feel something, I really feeling something, and just back me some memories about my granddad, my grandmother. Man, it was really cool, really really soft experience. I was really glad. And then my mom took before, like years ago, before I was born, and she told me she saw her.
You spoke about it with her, like
normally.
Yeah. You have a very good relationship with your parents, like that.
Really open, really
very
open.
Good.
Yeah. We talk about everything. Yeah. What's good? What's the best person to talk about?
Of course,
your parents, man.
They love you. They want you to.
They want you good.
Of course.
So then she told me his experience. She saw herself carrying a water pot, and she told me she was a queen.
Yes.
In Egypt. So, I was a queen. Okay, mom, we saw that. So, he told me about her experience and say, hey mom, I want to try with you, but my mom decided no more because she get his it's not because she don't wanna, it's just because she was nice with his conscience.
Yeah.
She
was at a good place.
Yeah, you know, I know what I am, what I have, you know, what I feel, what I believe. So I don't need more. But then she
was awakened.
Yeah, but she always motivated me to test.
Yes.
Test yourself, see what you like. And my mom always open to talk about everything. But my mom's pretty much my background in spirituality. My mom is really spiritual. My mom is incredible, man. You should do a podcast with her.
Yeah.
She's incredible, man. She know everything.
Yeah.
She know everything about everything. What you want to talk with her, man, she give you some wisdom, a good wisdom moment about everything.
Especially if she's very open-minded like that, you know.
Completely open-minded.
Obviously, everyone has different parents, where some parents are a little bit more reserved. They don't like to talk about with their children about certain topics, whether it's a bit taboo or it's just uncomfortable. But if you have a mother like that, that's very comfortable to talk about these
really
experiences.
Good,
it passes that knowledge onto you, and you can have your own journey along, you know.
Yeah. But it's good to have a background, have a parent's opinion about, and try to listen to that, man.
Yeah.
It's good.
People, I think when I was younger, you always underestimate your parents for what they are. I think once you grow up, you start to realize as you become older, I'm basically a younger version of my parents. They've just seen more than I have. Yeah. You know?
It's true.
And you always think when you're a kid, what do my parents know? They know. They've been there. They've experienced everything. You know, as much as you don't see it, because sometimes they don't talk about their experiences. Maybe they had a bad experience or good experience. You know, sometimes if you say, "Dad, I want to hang out with that friend," and they look at that friend and they can tell this friend is not good for you, they say, "No, don't play with that friend." And you don't understand these things, but when you get older, you start to go, there is always a reason to their decisions.
This is a kid's problem. Listen.
Yes.
Nobody listen. No. Even an adult. They don't listen. Yeah. This is really bad.
Well, I feel like if you describe and you take the time to explain to someone something, they can understand it. I think what happens is the biggest problem is a lot of people, when they tell someone something, they don't elaborate, or they don't. And this is why I say some people, for example, to become a parent, I think the hardest thing to do, and this is something I know I would never become an parent now, is because the amount of patience you need and the amount of experience you need, and the amount of patience you need to sit down with your child and explain to them something, the consequences. If you do this, this will happen. Instead of just saying, you did something naughty, go to your corner. It's, you know.
Because in the end, it's your do what you want. Yeah. You always do what you want.
Yeah.
If you don't want to do, you don't do. Simple.
And so you did the ayahuasca just the one time, and you saw
twice. I did twice. Well, it was great, really.
My experience, and like you said before, with the like the Virgin Mary and the Catholicism, for some reason, and my friends who have tried it have described to me the same thing. There's a feeling of universal love when you have it. It's very weird.
Yeah.
You always feel this connection of everyone should just love each other, and love is the only real essential meaning to the whole universe. It's all about love, and for some reason, the woman is very iconic in the experience. I've always seen birth and rebirth.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people don't know about DMT, it's actually produced in our bodies naturally. Mm-hmm. It's actually what triggers your mind to dream. In a dream state, it's produced in your liver, in your kidneys, and essentially what's happening when you're dreaming is you've got your pineal gland, which is in the center of your brain. Your brain is being flushed with DMT, dimethyltryptamine, and it's triggering you to go into that dream state. What happens is when you die, your brain produces a mass amount and floods your pineal gland with it, which is essentially what they believe heaven is, and the white light, and you experience this kind of this at peace. Because anyone who's, I don't know if ayahuasca the same in the sense of you feel at peace in a way.
Completely.
Yeah, you feel like I am ready for death. You feel like I am, you know what, this is it.
You get better understanding about life.
Yes, and and it's weird. It's like you realize once you kind of die in a way, because that's what it kind of feels like. You feel like you take an appreciation for what actually matters in the world. You start to realize some of the materialistic things don't even matter.
Yeah.
The people closest to me, the love, the family, that's what really makes the difference in my life. Not having the newest iPhone or the watch or whatever, you know, the materialistic things.
Well, you can't take that stuff with you once you're gone, can you?
Exactly, you know.
You know what is good, Cina, is because you can bring this feeling for the real life without drugs.
Yes.
You know, once you feel the love, you know, you feel you should love everybody. You can bring for your real life.
Yes.
You know, it's a shame nobody can do that. Even alcohol.
Yeah.
Man, everybody love everybody when start to drink alcohol.
Yeah.
You know, if you can bring this feeling for the real life, you know, without drugs, it should be great.
So what was the biggest thing you took out of taking your ayahuasca trip?
Well, my DMT trip, well, I smoked it. My biggest one was we're all connected. Love is the only thing that really matters in this world. As well, it kind of opened the door for my spiritual. Actually, I was always I grew up going to Catholic school. I went to a Muslim school. In terms of religion, I never truly believed in religion because I always said religion is someone else's belief and my belief having to be in that belief.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas spirituality is your personal experience of what's happening on in this world. And so what happened with I've always kind of had that mindset, you know. And so what smoking DMT did was kind of open a door for me and just say, there's more to this than what you thought. And just said, here you go. And I think, honestly, it's one of the... I wouldn't say it's very profound because you kind of have to be in a good mindset to kind of do it. You kind of have to...
For sure.
You can't... If you force someone into it, they'll kind of have... not a bad trip, but they'll kind of fight it. You know what I mean?
Well, didn't they, like, back when the natives were taking it, didn't they have, like, shamans that would dance
you
around
have
you? And
Peruvian music, you
they
relax.
guide you through the experience?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a beautiful thing. I would recommend it to everyone, even my parents. I mean, it's a very taboo thing to talk about.
If you are in a good time.
If you're in a place where... And the funny thing about it is, let me just go back to ayahuasca. A lot of people who go to these ceremonies with shamans... They go there to actually break negative energies, addictions to certain substances, and have great success.
Yeah, yeah.
Great success because it shows people, it kind of shows you for who you are and says this. And you can't exactly bullshit yourself when you're in that state of DMT or dimethyltryptamine. You kind of, and you start to break everything down, especially with ayahuasca. So it's insane. I mean, I just needed to know and talk about Ian's experiences.
So is it the sort of trip if you're lost in life and you really want to try and make sense of what's going on?
I mean, when I took it, I don't know if Ian was the same way. I never felt that way. I just felt like I could tell there was something in this world where
You have the answer.
Yeah.
Just it. You know. You simply know.
It is very hard to this because it's
personal
insane what you kind of experience.
You just know. You know? Simple no.
It's a knowing. It really is. It's like someone gives you... you know what it's like? It's like my cousin Kaz actually says this analogy. It's like the Matrix.
Yeah.
Where they give you the 2 pills and they say, you can have this pill and just go back to your normal life. Or you can have this pill and you can know everything.
You can actually be awakened.
You can be awakened. And that's what it feels like when you actually take DMT, either an ayahuasca or smoking it.
Yeah.
It's an awakening.
Yeah.
There isn't no going back in the sense. You're the same person. Don't get me wrong. You're not going to start thinking in this crazy... You're the same person, but you're awakened in the sense of you see something in a new way.
It's really hard when you wake.
Yes.
Because you are awake, but your friend doesn't, you know?
It's... Yes. Yeah, I know what you mean by that, yeah.
You know? You try to bring... I try to bring this talk with you.
I can't understand it.
You know?
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
like I can sit here and listen and try and put myself in that place, but I can't.
I always find if I've had a conversation with someone and they've done it as well, and we just look at each other and you just see that connection in the eyes, it's like...
Yeah.
We know...
It's like, you know what I'm on about.
We know exactly. It's like we've died and seen heaven and like been back and like, damn, you know what I mean? It's hard for people who haven't experienced it, and that's why I do it when you're comfortable with it, when you're in the right place. I can't...
It's good get out of your consciousness.
Yeah.
It's good.
Get out of your consciousness?
Consciousness? It's a tricky word, man.
Consciousness.
I took 1 month to learn,
Yeah.
and I still consciousness.
Are you
You're doing well.
Are you aware of what's going on when you go through the trip?
This is what happens. So with ayahuasca, what exactly? Do you close your eyes?
It's a long process, man.
It's 4 hours, 5 hours?
Sometimes more.
Yeah.
You can even sleep if you want to.
So what did you do? Did you shut your eyes and just
Smoking
go with it, or
you close your eyes. It's basically having a nap for 10 minutes.
Mm.
And I had some music in the background, and you just see, it's kind of like a blind person seeing a kaleidoscope for the first time.
yeah, okay, right.
So it's basically all these colors and different dimensions, and I actually feel like I'm in another planet in a
Another
sense.
realm.
I feel like I've gone into the universe and actually seen where human existence kind of stems from.
Yeah,
You did
And
you did by yourself, alone, with friends, and
once with friends and once by myself.
you
Because
searched something before,
Yeah.
and then okay.
I did a lot of research, and it was kind of like the Joe Rogan podcast, kind of just
yeah.
Because when
threw me
I,
to it, and then I finally just
when I
bit the
took
bullet
the
and-
ayahuasca, it was a long process. First, you have a talk in a table, explain what it is, how we made, you
Yeah.
know, explain all the religions about, and then you take the first, and then we dancing a little bit, more talking about what you're feeling.
You feel
you know, always pushing you, pushing you to think, to reflect, a reflexive way, you know. It's really good when you take in a proper way, you know, in a proper when experiment people.
with the right people, it can be beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you believe that it sort of does detach you from what we perceive and what we see on a day-to-day basis, and maybe takes you into another realm of consciousness?
What do you mean?
I've heard about what you're talking about.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, everyone has different theories to it. Some people believe you actually go into different dimensions, or some people believe your brain goes into a different frequency, and that's why you see what you see.
That's the point, man. You go where you want. It's your experience.
Sounds like astral traveling.
It is. It's Joe Rogan. What is
How
it?
do you know?
Yeah.
Have you been?
No, I said it sounds like astral
Oh.
traveling.
Would you
I
ever
didn't
be
say
interested?
in what, astral traveling?
No. In DMT?
Oh, hell yeah. I've spoken to him about it, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I would
So
be-
you kind of knew about it prior, but you
Yeah.
you just need the time to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as I get to Brazil, that's on my bucket list. That's the first thing I'll be
Really?
doing.
Oh, fair enough. I don't know how long we've done. We've done quite a while. We've had a pretty good
It's
conversation.
only just getting kicked off, isn't it?
Let's give man. You cut. If you need, you cut.
No. We'll wrap it up because we've done quite a bit. I think we've easily done over an hour. For social media, your Instagram is at what? Ian _
Ian, I mean, even know
Ludgero, isn't it?
Rodrigo.
I'll put the link under Ian's
Sorry,
name.
guys. Maybe it's dot or.
I can't remember. And Troy, I can't remember your
Mate, I don't need anything put
Plugs.
up there.
But I'll link their social media up to their faces, and you can add them. Great guys to add, and great guys to know. I'm very fortunate to have a great circle of friends, especially jiu-jitsu's led me to magnificent guys, and appreciate you guys for coming on and having this discussion. And one of my favorite ones, I can honestly tell you now.
Thank you. Sorry, my English, Cina. I want to talk
Honestly,
more.
beautiful English.
I want to express myself
I'm not
better.
putting any subtitles on this video. It's
Great.
All right. For anyone who wants to reach out to me at Project C Podcast on Instagram. If you want to follow my South American trip, what is my Snapchat? It's Cina CINA _G Snapchat, and then I'm on Facebook as well on the Project C Facebook page. So you can get in touch with me. Interested in podcasts, plugging, whatever. Just let me know, guys. Always ready to help out fellow Perth people, and thank you guys once again for coming on, and that's
Great.
that.